I often looked at my small apartment, feeling a quiet pride swell in my chest. After years, I had finally built this life for myself. My recovery was not just about feeling better, it was about freedom. Every morning, I woke up feeling a sense of calm, a peace I hadn't known in so long. This stability was my ultimate victory, a testament to every hard-fought battle. I felt ready for anything, truly independent for the first time. Leela, my sister, was always there, or so it seemed. She called herself my closest confidante. One afternoon, while we were having tea, she mentioned my old anxieties. "Remember how you used to get before big events, Alara?" she said, a soft smile on her face. "You've come so far." Her words were meant to sound supportive, but a tiny shiver of unease ran through me. It was a strange, almost unsettling feeling. A few days later, I couldn't find my evening medication. I searched everywhere, feeling a familiar panic rise. Leela, who was visiting, offered to help. "Are you sure you took it, sweetie?" she asked, her voice full of concern. "Sometimes you can be a bit forgetful, especially when you're busy." I felt a flush of embarrassment. I was sure I had, but her words planted a seed of doubt. The medication suddenly felt less effective. That night, after Leela left, a wave of intense anxiety crashed over me. It felt exactly like the attacks I used to have, the ones I thought I had conquered. My heart pounded, my breath caught in my throat. I found myself staring at a small porcelain bird on my shelf. It was the same kind my grandmother had, a painful memory. I was certain it had been moved. I felt scared, wondering why this was happening now. The episodes started happening more often. Sometimes it was a sudden rush of sadness, other times a crippling fear. I'd find my favorite book on the wrong shelf or my keys in a strange place. Each time I told myself I was just tired, or perhaps my memory was slipping. But a nagging feeling persisted. It was as if someone was playing a cruel trick, though I couldn't imagine who or why. My support network, the friends and group members who had seen me through my darkest days, began to feel distant. When I spoke about my new struggles, their eyes held a concerned look. "Maybe you're pushing yourself too hard, Alara," one friend suggested, echoing Leela's exact words from a few days prior. I felt a chill. The very people who understood me best now seemed to doubt my strength. I confided in Leela about the strange coincidences and my worsening symptoms. She listened patiently, then patted my hand. "Oh, Alara," she sighed, "you're just overthinking things. It's probably your old anxieties creeping back. You tend to imagine things when you're stressed." Her words, meant to soothe, only made me feel more confused and alone. Was I really just imagining all of it? Was I losing my mind again? The pressure mounted until I couldn't hold it anymore. One afternoon, in the middle of a busy park, I broke down. Tears streamed down my face. I couldn't catch my breath. Leela was there, seemingly by chance. She rushed to my side, her arm around me, whispering soothing words. She looked like the devoted sister, comforting her fragile sibling. I felt utterly exposed, humiliated, and completely defeated. My therapist and doctor, after hearing Leela's observations and witnessing my rapid decline, suggested medication adjustments. They spoke of more intensive care, a step back I desperately feared. I felt a profound despair, the heavy weight of failure settling on my shoulders. All my hard work, all my progress, seemed to be unraveling. I was back at the beginning, or so it seemed. I was numb, walking past Leela's room when I heard her voice. She was on the phone, her tone hushed but triumphant. "Oh, Alara's fine now," she chuckled. "Just had another little episode. But don't worry, I'm handling everything. She's completely dependent on me again." My blood ran cold. The words hung in the air, chilling me to the bone. A horrifying suspicion ignited. I began to retrace everything, seeing patterns I had missed, and a terrifying truth started to emerge. After that chilling phone call, I knew what I had to do. My heart ached, but a new resolve settled within me. I pretended to still be fragile, letting Leela think she had won. But secretly, I installed small cameras, tiny eyes watching everything. I started a meticulous journal, noting every strange occurrence, every word Leela spoke. This was my fight, and I was going to win it, not for revenge, but for my sanity. One morning, I carefully examined my medication bottle. Leela had always insisted on organizing my pills. I poured them out, counting each one. Something felt wrong. Hidden beneath a layer of cotton, I found an empty capsule expertly tucked away. My blood ran cold. Then, in a new bottle Leela had given me, some pills looked slightly different. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was a deliberate act. My worst fears were confirmed. I started reaching out to friends I had grown distant from. It was hard, but I needed to understand. I met Sarah for coffee. She looked uncomfortable when I brought up my recent struggles. "Leela mentioned you were having a really tough time," Sarah said, her voice soft. "She said you were convinced people were against you." The words were almost identical to what Leela had told me. My stomach twisted. Leela had been poisoning my friendships. I decided to set a trap. I told Leela with a shaky voice about a new, made-up trigger. "I've been feeling so anxious whenever I see birds, especially those porcelain ones like Grandma's." Leela listened, her eyes full of feigned sympathy. A few days later, I overheard her on the phone talking to our cousin. "Poor Alara," she whispered, "she's fixated on those birds again. It's so sad." My heart pounded. She had used my fabricated fear against me. I spent days digging through old messages and social media. It was sickening. There were so many comments from Leela, always under the guise of concern. "So worried about Alara, she's been so fragile lately," or "hope Alara remembers her therapy today." Each message, innocent on its own, painted a picture of me as unstable, unreliable. She had been chipping away at my reputation for years, slowly, insidiously. The pattern was undeniable. Armed with everything, I confronted Leela. I showed her the empty capsule, the messages, the journal entries. Her face went pale. First, she denied everything, her voice tight. "You're imagining things, Alara, you're not well," she cried, trying to gaslight me one last time, but I stood firm. Then her composure crumbled. Tears welled in her eyes. I just wanted to protect you," she whimpered. "I was scared of losing you. I was jealous of your strength." Her words were a twisted confession, a hollow echo of love. The confrontation was just the beginning. With my therapist's unwavering support and a kind lawyer, I compiled everything. The evidence was overwhelming. We presented it to our family. My parents listened, their faces etched with shock and disbelief. My brother looked heartbroken. It was a painful, necessary truth. I knew this would shatter our family, but I couldn't carry Leela's lies anymore. Sharing my story was terrifying, but also freeing. I spoke at a local mental health event, my voice trembling at first, then growing stronger. I talked about my journey, the betrayal, and my fight to reclaim my sanity. People listened, their eyes filled with understanding. I wasn't just a survivor, I was an advocate. This was my narrative now, not Leela's twisted version. I was taking back my power. Leela faced the devastating consequences of her actions. Our family, once so close, was now irrevocably broken. She was estranged, isolated by her own cruelty. There were legal actions, too, for the criminal sabotage. I didn't feel joy in her downfall, only a profound sadness for what we had lost. But I also felt a deep sense of vindication. Justice, in its own way, had been served. My peace of mind was returning, slowly but surely. Life felt different now, lighter. I surrounded myself with genuine support, with people who saw me, truly saw me. The betrayal still stung, a scar on my soul, but it no longer defined me. I had faced pure malice and emerged stronger, more determined than ever. I was independent, free. My journey to mental health recovery had been a battle against an invisible enemy, but I had won. I stood tall, a testament to resilience, ready for whatever came next, a quiet triumph in my heart.